for Vinh. No gas just yet. So this is a bit peculiar. No Reaper starting, which is interesting. And Mooja is actually starting with the usual Reaper beginning. He's actually started with 2 gases, so this kind of suggests that he's going to go straight for a factory and starport right afterwards. But no cheese going down here from either players, so that's good to see. And it looks like an expansion coming out here for Vinh as well at the very, very beginning. Oh, and I just realized I am actually on the thing, so not too much missed anyways. It's only about 1.5 minutes of the game, so that is fine. I do apologize about that. Switching over to the game. I'm actually going to stay with that all the time now, simply because I don't want to mess that up in one of the more rushy game. This is a bit of a mistake. Just going to leave that as a comment as well. It's a bit of a mistake to do on the first game of the final. It's a bit unfortunate. Let's make that best of 7, and it's of course the first game. So build variations are there from the very, very beginning. Looks like Mooja actually starting off with a very different build at the very beginning. He's got a factory coming on the way, so potentially a 1-1-1 build, whereas Vinh actually going for the early expansion, so he's going to have more economy, but at the same time he's going to be sacrificing the versatility of different units that he has. So let's see where we have here. Yes, definitely we do have the starport on the way. It's actually a little bit hidden on the side here, but of course an overlord would spot that out. What am I saying? There's no overlords in this game. There's no Zerg. It's just Terran versus Terran. So yeah, let's continue on with this game. Now I wonder, honestly, I actually have never remembered if Reapers can climb up that. I don't think they can, so that would be a lost cause anyways. But Terran versus Terran, you don't really tend to see that many Reapers. It's usually just Marines and Marauders, and of course our most favorite, siege tanks. Siege tanks are simply the most important thing in Terran versus Terran. And let's see, are they going to spot this one? Definitely taking that SCV out as well. So at this point, I suppose both of our players could have a wise guess of where exactly the opponent is. Now bringing his Marines just up here to basically scout out exactly what's going on. It's all actually just fine. He has a siege tank here as well and a medevac, so he's actually in quite a good position to attack up against Vinh. I mean, Vinh is not going to have a lot of units right now. If you notice his army supply, it's less than half of Mooja. Or Mooja, I think, is how he's down as in the tournament. So let's see how he's going to do here. He seems to be definitely interested in aggression. Oh my god, double Banshee coming out here for Vinh. This is very important. If he manages to basically bring out double Banshees before this does any significant damage, this could be quite deadly here. Looks like a Widow Mine being burrowed as well, so this is going to basically give him that extra bit of defense that he needs. And he's now coming in here. 2 siege tanks are in place as well. 1 bunker getting slowly worn down. Gonna probably try to salvage that. Is he gonna get it down? No, gets destroyed. And this is gonna be a tough position for him right now. He's gonna have to be really, really careful not to overextend here with his units. There we go, using the Banshee to try to snipe out that tank. Not quite gonna manage to do that. And there we go, SCVs are being pulled off. There's also Marines in the fray. There's 2 Banshees doing so much damage. The Liberator starting to do a bit of damage towards the Banshees, but is it going to be fast enough? Probably not. Manages to hold off here just fine. Still has the 2 Banshees and 1 siege tank. He's going to probably want to sacrifice these Banshees just to basically take care of that siege tank. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. And he's in a lot of trouble right now. Mooja is doing so well right now. He's actually managing to shut down this expansion fully. Now do keep in mind that Vinh doesn't have his own expansion. Sorry, Mooja doesn't actually have his own expansion, so Vinh is here by himself. He has a shutdown base, but they are on equal expansions, essentially. Let's see, he seems to be transferring a bunch of SCVs there. He's not too worried about another attack here. He does have a Liberator overhead, so kind of a bit of a waste. At this point now, the Liberator going to be able to basically be in place, or the Viking going to be in place to basically defend off against this. And it looks like the expansion going down here, but obviously trying to counter off that expansion before it gets set up. Oh, that Viking, or the Banshee rather, getting taken out straight away. Very nice play here from Mooja. Army supply slightly favoring Vinh. Worker supply also slightly favoring Vinh. We have a command center about to go up here. It's actually just gotten denied basically at the start. So it looks like he's going to have his economy rolling just a little bit later. Let's have a quick look at the income tab. Vinh with more than double the economy, just simply because he does have that extra command center. Already turned into an orbital, which means that he does have the extra mules. Level 1 weapons on the way for Mooja. So he's going to have the upgrade advantage. Now the question is going to be, is Vinh going to be going for some sort of mech play? Because he's not currently going for a bunch of barracks. He has 2 starports and he has 2 factories in production while already having one. So there we go, the engage going down here. Looks like a few units getting taken out, nothing too major. Army supply is favoring Mooja again. In fact, it's double the size. And that is probably to do with the fact that there is a third base coming down here, so he's essentially spending a lot of his resources on teching and building up his base right now. So definitely something that he wants to watch out for, not to build too many units. Oh my god, these Vikings are absolutely toast. Some nice pickoffs here from Mooja. I have to say that he's doing so well from just picking off units here and there with his Marines, just because they're not really being watched that closely. Level 1 upgrade's about to complete here as well, just a note. And what is this? This is another factory. He's going for 4 factories right now. This is absolutely huge. He's going to have so much mech production capability right now. It's actually quite crazy. I mean, I haven't really seen 4 factories being made specifically only on, or particularly on 2 bases. I mean, it's essentially got 2 fully mining bases. This one not fully mined out, this one not fully mined out. And of course, just, you know, 4 gases, which is going to be a bit difficult to support that much income or that much production with such little income. So the siege tank engages here. This is pretty much the Terran words or games exactly as they work. You basically do siege tank versus siege tank wars. If you manage to drop a few Marines just like this, you will come out on top. So Mooja actually taking out his army very nicely here and bringing himself up to 20 army supply lead. This is going to be nice here, I have to say. Very, very nice. And all of these Marines just running straight in there, being stemmed up as well. The damage from Marines against unsieged siege tank is definitely a worthy trade. I mean, he's going to be able to kite these Hellbats as well, just simply because of the range difference with them. And this is an absolutely nasty push right now. I think he's in a beautiful position. He's going to be able to do whatever he wants against this aggression here, or against this base. And I think that he very well might take this game for himself. Let's have a quick look at the APM tab. Doesn't actually have a huge lot, or at least he had a break there, but APM is sitting at about 150 to 200 from both of our players. Let's have a quick look at the upgrades. So just Mooja with his Stim and level 1 weapons. I think he's actually in such a better position right now. He's got the fully working base, he's got the units, he's got the army supply lead. The only thing is he needs to break the siege from the Terran player. I mean, it's obviously very, very difficult to manage to break into a sieged up Terran. He's got a bunch of mech units. He's got himself some siege tanks, which are of course mech units. And here we go, putting down his units. I don't think it's going to be quite enough to fight off this. Definitely going to be favoring Vinh in this engagement, just simply because he had his siege tanks here already in position. And wow, okay, looking at that, it's actually no, it's actually still gone in Mooja in Mooja. I keep calling him Mooja because I saw it on the tournament, but there we go. More and more Marines. This command center is absolutely toast. I think this is going to be GG for our blue player here. Vinh is not quite going to have enough units to defend off against this. He's going to really have to pull off some miracle to manage to survive against an army that's about times and a half bigger than his. And GG has been called. So Vinh getting knocked out of the first game. First game going in Mooja's direction. So very well played here. And a nice timing push actually. Okay, so that was game number 1. That was pretty nice. Moving straight into game number 2, it seems. Alright, let's move straight into game number 2. I'll switch the scene now before I forget, because that of course is super important. And let's start off with our game. Okay, here we go. Mooja versus Vinh. We are currently at game number 2. And our red Terran here is actually on 1 point ahead. So let's have a quick look. Quick introduction here. Quang Vinh is our Terran player playing as the blue Terran, spawning at the top right hand side of Orbital Shipyard. His opponent, Mooja, spawning as the red Terran, currently at 1 point up. So he's punished Vinh very badly with his build last game. He basically did a 1 base push with a very, very late expansion, basically just to put on the aggression at the very, very beginning. That went very heavily in his favor, just simply because he had those extra units. He was able to basically force the GG out of him. He could destroy all of his units before they managed to clump up. And that was an absolutely, whether it was lucky or whether it was well played, I have to say he just played the whole thing pretty damn well. So let's see how this one plays out. Looks like the builds are very, very similar. Both players having the gas this time, which means that they could very well have Reapers at the very start. Now Vinh's gas is just a little bit late, not going to be able to get that Reaper as soon as that barracks is up, but just about a second later, so just a bit of a difference. But then again, the barracks for Mooja was actually a little bit earlier as well. Or later rather. The builds are pretty neck to neck. I mean, there's only maybe 1 or 2 second difference between the builds right now. They're all pretty identical, with the exception that Mooja has actually gotten his gas a little bit earlier as well. So the expansion's coming down again. Very, very similar builds. Timings are also extremely, extremely similar. The only difference right now is that Vinh has actually opted to go for a second gas already, which is a little bit early, unless he plans, of course, to go for a 1-1-1 build, or of course going for some higher mech. Seems to be very fond of his mech. I mean, if you looked at the last game, there was what, 4 total, a total of 4 factories made in that game. So you know, it was quite a heavy aggression game with factories. So as I was saying, very similar builds, everything is fine. Looks like second gas coming down here for Mooja as well, so that's definitely on the way. Looks like the Reaper managed to get into the base, doing a bit of damage here. I don't think he's actually picked off, oh, he's actually managed to pick off 1 SCV, so that's pretty nice. There we go, a second SCV. This Reaper is doing so much work right now. I mean, doing a Reaper harass at the start and managing to pick off SCV is an absolutely humongous advantage to you. I mean, look at this. Actually, both players doing the exact same thing. And how many have been killed so far? 3 to 4. We're going to wait until these get destroyed. And oh my god, Vinh, with all this damage, he's taken out so many SCVs. This Reaper has already cleared out this base at this point. And there we go, the surround going down. Oh, I'm not controlling it, thinking that he has the free reign there. 5 in favor of 7 SCVs now. The only difference is that Mooja actually saved his SCV in this one. Now the builds appear to be very similar. Still a 1-1-1 build being executed for both of our players. It looks like we have an armory coming out for Vinh. So I have a feeling that he's going to go for a mech play again, because he has indeed opted to go for the army very early. This kind of suggests that he's going to start building upgrades quite early in the game. Or alternatively, he could of course be going for Thors. Now let's see what he manages to pull off with this Reaper. I think he's going to just have to back it up. Otherwise he will end up losing units out of it. Or losing it to the Hellions. And now chasing him, the Hellions are a little bit faster. But of course they cannot climb over hills, which puts them at a big disadvantage. And now heading on back to base. So Widowmine coming down here for Vinh, so he's potentially going to do some sort of shenanigans a bit later on. We'll see how that turns out. Possibly going to drop that into the base. The actual medevac leaving a little bit earlier. Hold on! Don't leave without me, guys! Okay, dude, do you want to pick it up or what? Right, okay, so there it is. The siege tank is now up inside of Mooja's head. Mooja's base. The names are confusing me. Let's have a look at the units lost against. So still 7 SCVs to 5 in favor of Mooja. It looks like he's converting these dudes to Hellbats. Now this, I assume this has not been spotted yet. This could be very dangerous. There's not a whole lot of workers here. I mean, there's 6 workers and these mules are about to die off as well. But if he manages to bring that in here, that could be absolutely humongous. I mean, even managing to pick off a few SCVs here is still important. I mean, he didn't take out the Widowmine yet. Now this one, Marine getting mismicroed here. Gonna get taken out straight away. Is he gonna bring out the Widowmine? Yes, he did. Didn't quite manage to actually pick off a huge amount with it, but still, regardless, any bit of damage that he can do with that Widowmine is very important. And there we go, medevac getting cleaned up there, and that is going to be the end of that harassment. Now let's look at the units lost again. I did bring that up for a second, but I want to bring it up again. So 10 SCVs in total have been lost now. Of course, Marine and 3 Marines and 1 Reaper is minor, because that's 4 attacking units. But on the other side, look at how many units have been lost on Vinh's side. So I was watching the semi-final with Vinh. He absolutely dominated his opponent, but this time Mooja is just doing so well against him. There we go, the drop. Getting warded off very quickly. And again, not managing to do a whole lot with that. He took out 2 SCVs, but for that he sacrificed a medevac and a few units. I don't think that would be worth it for him. Probably not quite trading very well here. But that's fine, you know, that's unfortunately how things work sometimes. Let's see, I just want to bring up the building stab. It looks like Vinh, again with 3 factories, he does have a 4th one on the way as well, so this means that he is going for a mech play again. Typically you'd see Terrans only getting 1. Oh wow, okay, he's going for a 5th factory. This is huge. He's going to be going for so much mech right now. And a drop going down here, it's both a siege tank and a bunch of Marines as well. So doing a lot of damage with those, taking out a few SCVs while he's at it. And the Marines just looking a bit menacing here inside the main base. Managing to pick off 1 Hellion, it's actually Blue Flame Hellions as well. And this is going to get cleaned up now. He's probably going to want to lift this up and just get out of here at this point. Now that will be safe. Vikings are faster than medevacs when they're not boosted, but when they are boosted, of course, they can get away and put some distance in between them. Now, army supply slightly favoring Mooja, which is fine. I mean, Vin's army is actually, you know, they're all very far apart. So Mooja is still inside his base. He's got a 10 army supply. So by the time he would get over, it would be evened out at that point. So this amount of difference is not really going to play much of a role at this point. But one thing I want to point out is the upgrades. So Mooja is a lot more content with his bio play. So he's got himself stim and level 1 bio weapons, whereas Vinh has actually opted to get himself the blue flame upgrade and the basically the siege weapon damage. Now, once the shield and armor is completed for Marines, he's going to be in a very good position to actually start taking on siege tank attacks. He'll be able to basically stim up, heal them up a little bit, and just run straight into the siege tank, and that'll probably favor him quite nicely. Loading up his medevacs. He's got 4 medevacs full of units. That's 2 siege tanks and 16 Marines. So if he manages to essentially get that into the base unnoticed, he could very well snipe off like either a command center or even some production facilities, as well as of course a full mineral line. That's kind of a given. But so many siege tanks here. Look at the amount of them. There's a total of 6 right now. And you know what? I love seeing mech play. It's something that we don't get in Legacy of the Void. Marine playstyle just seems to be very heavy on Marine and medevac, with some siege tanks in the back as well. And I think that having this is just a bit of a fresh breath of air. So there we go, the drop going down here now. One of those medevacs getting picked off straight away, because of course there is the missile turrets here, but they're going to start working away at these buildings. Probably not the best focusing down a refinery, but we'll see where he goes with that. Is he going to try to focus down the command center? I honestly don't think so. He's not going to be in a position to fight it off. There we go. He's shut down this base fully at this point. He's going to start to work away. Oh, this is nice here. Managing to drop off the Hellbats right into the line. Now I don't know how much that's going to do for him, because he's still at a bit of a choke here on the main ramp. I think that he needs to siege up these tanks as soon as possible. If he doesn't, he will lose all of his units. But does he have enough? He might indeed have enough units to actually continue on with this aggression. 3 siege tanks and 1 Hellbat remaining. And all of the units for Mooja have actually been destroyed at this point. Now this, on the other side, on his opponent's base, is also being dropped into the main base. 22 to 49 SCVs have been destroyed so far. So Vinh is at a big disadvantage right now. He has lost so many SCVs. 2 bases worth of SCVs, in fact. And finally getting that cleaned up. These siege tanks still in position here. They are going to be able to hold on for just a little bit longer. And I think the fact that Vinh is not sieging up his tanks is one of his biggest hindering factors right now. He just seems to be content with running in straight away, unsieged, which, as you all are aware, is obviously not the way they're supposed to be played, because they are much stronger when they're sieged up. The only thing is, of course, you lose a bit of attacking time, but if your opponent is not kiting, then that doesn't really make sense, does it? I mean, difference. So looking at the buildings tab, well, just messing up a little bit there. Looks like we got level 1 armor for the mech units. So at this point, going to be at 1-1. Honestly, I don't know if that's going to be enough if he's still not using his siege tanks in siege mode, because he does need that. It's very, very important. I mean, it's all about the damage really. It's not so much about the defense, because if you got siege tanks that go from I believe it's like 35 damage to, not even 35, it's like 25 damage to 45, then at that point, you know yourself, it's not going to end well for you if you just refuse to unsiege. There we go. This one barracks, he's obviously not very fond of his barracks if he's sending it to its death here. And it's not even, he's not even using it to distract, he's just pretty much just content with letting it die. Okay, so let's have a look. It looks like level 2 going down for bio here for for Mooja. So as I said, he's definitely focused on that. He is getting himself level 1 siege weapons as well, so... Or not siege, even mech. So that is going to start playing a little bit of an effect in his army composition. Now, of course, his opponent already has that, but he's getting level 1 armor. But I think that if he manages to get himself level 2 bio shield armor and attack, he's going to be at a much stronger position if he just gets a big Marine Marauder army. And there it is. He's got medevacs, he's got Marines, he's got Marauders, he's got himself shields. She's got to put him in a good position to actually fight off this army. There we go. He kind of predicted this was happening, putting his Hellbats on the other side. Siege tanks are unsieged here, taking care of all these Marines. Wow, I think that the fact that these Marines were so clumped up, so close together, is going to cost him potentially even the game here. So 30 army to 66. It's looking very heavily in favor of Vinh right now. He needs to potentially even get some air units. I think if he was to bring out a few Banshees right now, he would actually be able to take care of this quite nicely. And there we go, another engage going down here. There's absolutely nothing that these Marauders can do. There's only a few SCVs here. This is going to be GG, and there it is, called here by Mooja. This is going to be bringing up the series to 1-1. 1 apiece. Which means we're going to be moving on to game number 3. This is a best of 7, by the way. I forgot to bring that up. But that is indeed the case. And let's see how we're going to progress here. What is going to be the next map? Oh, Arena is the next map. Awesome. Looks like we're going to kick off with that in just a few moments. I have to say it's a little bit more difficult to cast stuff without the Game Heart mod, so definitely something useful to have. Alrighty, let's go. Game number 3. Switch the scene. And let's get going with this one. Game number 3 starting here between our 2 Terran players. So let's quickly introduce both of them. Quang Vinh is our blue Terran player on the top left hand side. And his opponent is going to be Mooja, who is spawning as the red Terran. Now, this is a best of 7. It is the grand final of our Sunday Cup, hosted by RuShSC2. Pretty nice of him to do this. Hope you guys can give him a bit of love for doing that. And our score is currently at 1 apiece. So that is pretty cool. Let's see how this game plays out. It's pretty awesome to have an amateur tournament being casted. I mean, it's the first time doing one live, so these games are all being done live. There's no cutouts, there's nothing that I can do if I make a mistake. It's all right there, live on air. Let's look at the differences in builds. Looks like Mooja going for an earlier refinery, which is quite standard here. Ooh, okay, this is interesting. This is a little bit different now. So typically you have your refinery out just about in time to have the Reaper coming out, which would be just about now. But as you can see, his gas is actually far ahead, which I have a strange feeling there that he's going to rush the the second the factory straight out of this. I think it's gonna go straight after this, straight into a refinery or a factory even, as soon as this is complete. And is he gonna do that? Is he gonna hide something off here? No, moving away the SCV. What is he going to do? There it is, putting down the factory pretty much straight off in the beginning. And if you look at his opponent, Vinh, actually starting off with a command center first. Now he did indeed go for the Reaper at the start. So just a bit of variation here at the very beginning. And I wonder, is he going to go for a 1-1-1 build? I have a strange feeling, I'm just going to randomly guess here, that he is going to go for what is it called? That he's possibly going to go for a sneaky Banshee play. So let's see if that's exactly what he's going to do. I mean, he knows at this point that Vinh is essentially a mech player. He loves his mech. He loves to do that pretty much every game. So he might just decide, okay, you know what? I'm just going to get some units that you simply cannot touch. And we're going to see about that. One factory already on the way for Vinh. Now, has that been denied? That's actually been denied here. SCVs have been pulled off that. Or at least maybe it's been destroyed. So 2 SCVs have already been killed here for Vinh. So Mooja, on top of his harassment, managing to take out 2 SCVs for the cost of 1 Reaper. Definitely a worthy trade. And interestingly enough, he's gone for Siege Tank and Medevac. So not going for Widow Mines, not going for Banshees. Just straight into a Siege Tank. If these Marines not going to catch up to that Reaper, gonna show off the tank very, very quickly here. The base is now established for Vinh. At this point, he's going to want to hold off whatever's coming towards him. If he manages to hold off, he's going to have a nice economic advantage, and this is exactly where he'll want to be, really, because his opponent, if he manages to hold off against his opponent, that is, he's not going to have a huge amount of economy. He's not going to be able to reinforce this with a huge amount of units. Ooh. But that's a dangerous situation now. He doesn't have his own siege tanks. But his opponent, interestingly enough, I think he's not responding to this correctly. I think that the best option here would be either to get his own siege tanks or even go for some air. There we go, Banshee's being made here, so a good response here, a little bit late, but that's exactly what he needed, some Banshees to counter off those siege tanks, because at this point, these siege tanks are just causing so much hassle right now, even losing a Widow Mine there. And Mooja just playing so well right now. I mean, he dominated his semi-final game, and it seems that he's doing really, really well here. It's almost as if I'm casting a pro game, really. They're both playing really, really well, I have to say. Commend them for both of them for their playstyles, doing so well. The Banshee about to come out, I think it's probably going to get sniped off pretty much straight away as soon as it comes off, so that's a bit unfortunate for him. And there we go, all of the SCVs getting pulled off. Unfortunately, that's not going to be enough to defend off against this, and I think this is going to be a very quick GG here from Vinh. That's pretty much it. I hope you have enjoyed this one. Let's move on to game number 4. Right, okay, this is a little bit strange. I'm wondering. that is a bit unfortunate. My recordings actually got screwed up, so I might have to abandon the casting of this game. Not the casting, but rather the recording. It's a bit unfortunate. It decided to record OBS instead of the actual game, which sucks. Alright, and let's begin. Looks like we've currently got ourselves a 2-for-1 in favor of our red Terran player. Let's go with the points. It is a best of 7, and let's jump straight into this game. So our two players here, top right hand side of Dust Towers, Mooja and Vinh, spawning as the blue Terran. His opponent, Mooja, who is spawning as the red Terran. A Terran versus Terran play, and so far the games have been quite interesting. Very, very good play styles, and I'm really interested in how Mooja and Vinh is playing. He seems to be very, very fond of his mech play. He's gone 2 games with mech already. In the third one, he didn't actually go for mech, and he ended up losing it. And strangely enough, this is very peculiar here. I think he's gonna go for some sort of proxy right inside his base. Oh my god, Mooja. Very, very sneaky, very peculiar indeed. I think it's going to be a Reaper harassment. Or rather, Reaper aggression at the very beginning. So double barracks being put down. And these are being made right outside his base. Oh, this is going to be nasty. All he really has to do, if he can destroy about 5 to 8 SCVs, at that point that game is lost. So he's going to be able to do that? I certainly hope so. But from the other side, from Vinh's side, I certainly hope he can defend it. And this is so tense. I mean, realistically, in real life, if you're standing over here, you can see this. I mean, realistically, let's think about it. But StarCraft, such a game that you have to have a bit of fairness, otherwise everyone will just be able to look across the map with a telescope or whatever. So let's see. One SCV about to get taken out, is so close. He's gonna see that there's no expansion here. Gonna realize, okay, this dude's building a lot of units at the start. At least he's starting off with a pretty aggressive build. But is it gonna be aggressive enough? Because we do have 2 Reapers, 3 Reapers even be made, because there's the 3rd barracks here. 3 Reapers on the way. Gonna be focusing at pretty much bringing those straight into the base. And potentially forcing a GG out very, very early. So it looks like we have a command center being put down here. One Marine has already been picked off. Looks like the SCV's been pulled off the line as well to distract these Reapers. I don't know if they're going to be able to distract them enough, because of course they will be able to catch up very, very quickly. And this one SCV also getting picked off here, denying the ability to build this base. And at this point we have 4 SCVs destroyed. Oh no, a Widow Mine is going to be able to take this one Reaper out, and it's toast. Second Reaper is going to be safe for a little bit of time before they're recharged, so he's just going to need to basically stay away from that general area. If he unburrows the Widow Mine at that point, he will potentially lose it. He'll probably want to put it inside his mineral line. Oh, here we go. Hellion has been put up now at this point, actually managing to force the Hellion to back off. And so many SCVs getting destroyed. Oh my god, the Widow Mine is about to reload. Has to be very, very careful here. Oh, if he gets locked on there, that will be very it. Absolutely crazy. Look at that. This Reaper is just a god right now. I mean, he's doing so much damage, surviving for so long, and this Widow Mine is just not enough to hold us off. I think at this point, honestly, that there's very little that Vinh can actually do. His worker supply is almost half of Mooja, and he's also kind of struggling to hold us off. Oh my god, this Widow Mine almost managing to get destroyed there. Very, very close. And I do believe that this Hellion is absolutely toast. Oh my god, another Reaper getting taken out there. Honestly, at this point though, is it too late? It could very well be. I mean, he's got 2 bases. He could potentially hold off with a Widow Mine here, but it's very long recharge time between Widow Mines. It's very, very difficult. So much damage. This is just absolutely insane. There's only 1 worker remaining at this point, and I think this is going to be GG here for Vinh. I mean, there's no way that he'll be able to hold on to this. I mean, look at this right now. There we go. Reaper harassment, Reaper aggression, and Reaper cheese, bringing Mooja to 3-1 against Vinh. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Right, that is insane. Whew. Okay, there's gonna be another game here. Let's see how this one plays out. And let's see how this one's gonna be. So 3-1. I wonder, is Twitch going to archive this? Because if it is, I'm totally sending it to YouTube, because this is pretty damn awesome. I like this tournament. I mean, it's obviously an amateur tournament. It's not a pro one whatsoever. I mean, these guys are supposedly, they're supposed to be Diamond and Under. So as long as there's no cheating, that is just fine. Okay, and let's switch over to the game. Mooja versus Vinh. Currently at 3-1 in favor of Mooja. Okay, and let's jump into it. Switch our players. Best of 7. Vinh currently at 1. Mooja at 3. What's Cos? I don't know what that means, but let's jump straight into it. On the top left hand side of Central Protocol, we've got... Oh, it's Score. Okay. We've got Quang Vinh spawning as the red Terran. His opponent, Mooja, spawning as the blue Terran on the bottom left hand side. Both players starting off very similar here. As usual. I mean, whenever you're watching Terran players, it's typically very, very similar at the beginning. There's very, very rarely differences in the starting build. I mean, unless of course you've got cheese like in the last game, that can of course impact the game quite severely. Okay, so let's see. So far so good. It does look like we've got the refinery, double refinery down a little bit later for Mooja. Honestly, I don't even know what to call him. I'm just going to call him Mooja, because that's pretty much how his name is written. So Mooja with the double gas. This, of course, is pointing the finger towards the refinery and, sorry, the factory and starport opening, which is oh so popular with Terrans. And as you can see here, both players actually opting to go for that factory. So Mooja, is he gonna go for that starport? I do think he's gonna go for the starport. I mean, he has the income for it, definitely. And is he going to go for it? Yes, he is. I think he's going for it. I mean, he would have no other reason to actually put it down here. And there we go, starting that off. Now, the starport is a little bit earlier for Vinh, so that's definitely something to note. And he's got himself a bunker being built inside his base. Now that is very, very strange. And it's not even near his mineral line, so definitely a very, very weird one. And I wonder what the purpose of that is, but of course we're going to see that very, very shortly. Medevac is on the way, so that was Vin's choice of unit from the starport. And it looks like a Banshee play. Banshee play for Mooja. Is he going to try to force in a very early GG? 3-1 already in favor of him. So if he manages to do enough harassment with this, he will be able to take out his opponent. And that will of course mean that he wins the tournament. At this point, both of these players, by the way, they do win something. Both the finalists actually win something. So the top prize is 15 euros. And the second prize is 10. So the way we have it at the moment, it used to be 15, so it was 10 and 5, but I ended up donating another 10 euro for it for myself, just as a bit of a gift, I suppose. And the prize pool has increased, so pretty nice to be able to get a bit of money just for basically playing a few games. Obviously it takes a few hours to do the whole thing. I mean, we've been here for about 4 hours in total now on the stream, so I mean, I suppose the fact that, you know, having to spend so much time waiting around, playing some games, is, you know, a bit tiresome, but at the same time, these players are amateurs, they're not pros, which means they're not essentially getting paid for, you know, for playing here, so it's not their job basically to play the game. So peculiar enough, now that the Banshee's here, actually that's not really peculiar because he's kind of seen it now. Banshee already in the base, starting to take out Marines. He should have a scan ready, not on this command center, and this one is not ready yet. This is actually very dangerous right now. He's gonna have that scan really, really soon. There it is, he should have it ready now, gonna be able to take out that Banshee. Now the question is going to be, is he gonna have a second scan available just a few seconds away? And how much damage has he done with that? He's killed off 6 SCVs, which is not a bad number at all. Has a second Banshee already, given away its position by attacking an actual supply depot, which is probably not the best of choices. What is he going to do with that? He's gonna... There is another scan available already at this point. Oh, losing that other Banshee. I love the way it just flew off down there. Very nice. Okay, now army supplies slightly favouring Mooja. So he probably will be able to hold off against what's coming. He's of course going to have to be very, very careful. And it looks like just the Cyclone being used here. Now that is very, very dangerous. Now he needs to be careful with that. If he gets too close to the Widow Mine, that'll be pretty much all of it to health. I mean, I don't believe it finishes. Oh, it does actually. Cyclone, it is. It's 110 health. So that does mean that it gets one-shotted. Let's see what we have here. Using the lock-on ability on one unit, not actually a waste, since the lock-on ability is free, and it also has a very, very short cooldown. I think it's actually a little bit overpowered if you ask me. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have, you know, it's not a huge burst at the start, but it is continuous damage, and you can also chase down units and fire while moving. There we go, siege tank starting to do a bit of damage. 1 SCV taken out, 3 SCVs. Gonna want to lift that off and get the hell out of here. This is pretty nice. Okay, so what are we doing here? It looks like bio upgrades are being made here for Mooja. So definitely interested in continuing on with the bio play. He seems to be very fond of that, and this siege tank is just becoming very, very dangerous at this point. Now he is about to lose it, so that's something to note. The SCVs, or the medevac, I believe has been destroyed. Probably by the Widow Mine, actually. It does have 2 kills at this point. Let's see. Shields are now on the way for Marines as well. Which means they are going to have a bit more health. Still not enough to survive, for example, a Widowmine hit, but enough to survive the Siege Tank hit quite nicely. And manage to get healed up by a medevac at the same time. So Hellions are also on the way here. Oh, and nice drop inside the main base here. This is actually quite good here. Did manage to clear off a few ICVs, I believe. Let's have a quick look at the units lost. 20 ICVs were lost here versus 6 of Mooja. So definitely putting the hurt on Vinh right now. And Vinh is on his hind legs right now, just barely managing to hold on to this game, in my opinion. He is about 13 supply down, which is something like 50% of his own. So definitely gonna need to be a little bit careful, not to get too aggressive. And here we go, the drop here. Marines and Siege Tanks is probably going to get cleaned up here. There's not a whole lot that these medevacs can do in terms of getting away. I mean, he does have the Viking here as well, and that is pretty much dead at this point. Now army supply has evened out quite greatly here. Mooja not doing as much damage, I think, as he wanted. Work supply starting to catch up a little bit as well. And just to note, there is a command center being produced here for Mooja, so he's thinking of an expansion already. I'm gonna assume that has not been spotted. No, it hasn't. And a huge engage going down here. All these Marines moving out here. They did manage to actually clean this up. Oh my god, this is actually a beautiful position for Mooja. If he knew how far ahead he was right now, he would be running. He would be running right now. He would be running so fast towards his opponent's base and just straight up engaging and wrecking him. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have the vision that we have here, which means that he is unable to tell what his opponent is doing. But at the same time, he is expanding. He is putting himself that extra bit ahead, which is extremely important. Now his main is about to get mined out. His natural, not so much. Still a bit left. Probably another about maybe 5 to 6 minutes of mining. And he is continuing with the unit production as well. So he's got a Siege Tank on the way. He's got 2 medevacs. He's got the armor for Marines, which is quite nice to have, since he's focusing on bio so much. Looks like he's destroying his own rocks, which essentially just means he wants to have quicker access to his main or to his expansion here. But that is actually fine. I mean, it's all perfect, really. I mean, he only wants to open it for himself. Obviously, if his opponent is rushing through there, it kind of benefits him as well, because he's able to get into the main base or to that expansion a lot faster. And let's see what this is going to be doing here. A big drop. A total of 60 Marines and 2 Siege Tanks. Oh my god, straight into the base. It is getting spotted. Is he going to get something off with it? Honestly, I don't know. Oh, this medevac might get dropped before... Oh, 2 Marines lose their life, unfortunately, with that medevac. And a huge drop, actually. These Hellbats doing so much damage because they were basically dropped straight into that army and doing a bunch of AoE damage with it. Now, army supply is still favoring Mooja, just simply because he does have that third base established. He does have more production as well. Let's have a quick look at production, actually. So we've got, for Vinh, he's got three factories, 1 barracks, and 1 starport. Now his opponent, 5 barracks and 1 factory. So it's 2 factories for 4 barracks. Definitely not a worthy trade, I would say. And funny enough, Vinh going for Banshee Stealth. That's a bit of a strange one to see this late in the game. I mean, both opponents will have missile turrets, or at least they will have scans available. I mean, that's a scan available. That's almost 2 scans available. And this is just over 1 as well. Ooh, this is actually a cheeky one. Deciding to go for an expansion right up here in the face of Vinh, or in the face of Mooja. Ooh, nice Wouldn't mind a hit here. And this base, as I said, a very cheeky one. Gonna get denied pretty much immediately here. Starting to burn as well. I wondered if he's going to have enough units to actually fight on this, all of these Hellbats. I do think he is going to come out on top here. Army supply more than twice of Vinh. He's in such a good position right now, and GG has been called, leaving the game. And this means Mooja taking the series 4-1. Very well played. And congratulations to our Terran player Mooja, who has now taken the series and taking the Sunday Cup prize. So wow, that was actually quite action-packed, I have to say. Very, very good. So good game, well played.